Hi, I'm Ellie with Yellow Your Spirit Yoga, and today's asana practice is going to be all about finding stillness. Stillness is so important in our lives to counteract just all of the movement that's happening physically in our mind, in our heart, in our spirit. And stillness is not motionless or about not acting. In fact, consciously not acting is stillness in motion. So stillness is dynamic and it has a purpose. Stillness in our lives, just even for a moment, is replenishing, and it helps us process and it helps us respond accordingly. Stillness also helps us decode the ego and moving that aside in order to be with our real truth or find our real truth or hear our truth. So for me, stillness sometimes is like a time-lapse video in my mind, or not stillness. My daily life movement is like a time-lapse video in my mind, just running around everywhere. And so that is when I have to just hit pause on life and come to my mat and just practice a little bit, whether it's physical movement, whether it's meditation, whatever that is to bring me back to stillness. So in today's practice, we're going to move with breath and movement together very lightly in order to find stillness in the mind. And we will ground into the legs to really feel the strength and stability of the legs into the earth, which will allow us to feel safe when we find this stillness. So that's that. I think it's time. Let's get started. This is going to be a quick practice on the mat. We're going to get started in grounding a little bit and finding stillness just within our breath and a little bit within our mind, and just kind of arriving into this moment. So go ahead and sit on your heels, or you can put a block in between your feet and go ahead and sit on the block. Bring the palms to face down on the thighs, close down the eyes, roll the shoulders back a little bit, find a little lift in your chest. Maybe tuck the chin just a little bit to align the ears up with the shoulders. And start to just find your breath. Just without changing anything, just noticing the movement of the breath moving in through the nose and moving out through the nose. Start to feel your energy settling down a little bit, maybe through the hips, down into the legs, into the feet, into the ground, really straight down into the earth. As you feel that energy grounding down, keeping you stable and supported, allow yourself to find a little lift in the chest, a little bit of lightness in the upper part of the body. Bring the hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra, really lightly touching all the fingertips, even tuning into that sensation of that light touch, thumbs at the heart center. And just setting the intention to be still. I am still. My mind is still. My heart is still. In order to replenish, to process, or to heal. And then slowly open your eyes. Come into tabletop pose, all fours. Spread the fingers really, really, really wide. Bring the shoulders right on top of the wrists. Bring the hips right on top of the knees. You can flip the toes and press them into the earth, or let the tops of the toes press down into the ground, into the earth below you. And then just take a moment here to push the shoulders away, lengthen the neck. You're looking down in between your hands. Let your tailbone really press back. Pull the ribs in very gently. And take a moment here again, noticing the breath moving up and down the spine. Press into each fingertip so you're not putting all the weight on your wrists. So press into your knuckles and your fingers. And then real consciously, we're going to move into cow pose. So drop the chest, send the tailbone up, and then look a little bit forward as you roll your shoulders back. Take a moment here, take a breath here. Really feeling the openness of the chest, but the connection of the legs and the hands. And then slowly come into cat pose. Bring the chin in, the tailbone in, and the belly button up towards the spine. Now push the ground away as much as you could. Now we'll move with the breath. So as you inhale, start to point the tailbone towards the ceiling. Pull the heart forward for cow pose. As you exhale, round back into cat pose. Really connecting into the fingers, into the knuckles, tops of the feet. Inhale for cow pose. Use the hands to pull the sternum forward and the shoulder blades back. Exhale into cat again. And continue here. Inhaling. Exhale. Just noticing each breath with each movement. Come back into center and come into downward facing dog. So extend the feet back into plank so you can align yourself, shoulders right over the hands, and then send the hips up. Bend the knees softly and lift the tailbone up. And then look at the hands and align the wrists with the top of the mat and press into the index and thumb. Now press the ground down and forward to bring your chest towards your thighs. Let your shoulder blades roll back away from the ears. Press the pubic bone up. Relax the heels. And just listen to your breath. If you need to come down to your knees to take a break, you can. Just keep conscious of the breath and the movement. Now, as you inhale, come down to the knees for cow pose. Draw the heart forward. As you exhale, back to downward facing dog. And again, inhale, cow pose. Tailbone up. Exhale, down dog. One more time, inhale, draw the heart forward. Use the hands to pull back, traction the heart. Exhale, down dog. Now inhale, come down to the knees. As you exhale, bring the right foot forward, and you can use the hand to grab it. Bring the knee right on top of heel. As you inhale, use the fingers to pull the heart forward. As you exhale, feel the strength in the legs grounding down. And again, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, come back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come down to the knees. Exhale, bring the left foot forward, knee on top of heel. Inhale as you lift the chest, push the shoulders back. Exhale as you ground down into the feet. Inhale again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come down to the knees for cow pose. And then exhale, just come back into a child's pose. So you don't have to open your knees here. Just bring the hips back towards the heels. Walk the hands forward and bring the forehead down onto the mat or onto a block. Just breathe here. Send the breath down into the belly. Notice if the mind is a little quieter. Notice the connection of the body down onto the mat. Notice if there's any sensations in the body. On your next inhale, come back into cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now inhale again, cow pose. Exhale, bring the right foot forward, knee on top of heel. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come down to the knees. Exhale, left foot forward, knee on top of heel. Inhale, draw the chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, cow pose. Come down to the knees, lift the chest. Exhale, child's pose. Send the hips back. Inhale, cow pose again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in here. And breathe out, relax the heels. Inhale, come down to the knees. Exhale, the right foot forward. Inhale as you lift the back knee for low lunge. Exhale as you bring the back knee down. Relax the shoulders. Again, inhale, press into the front heel, low lunge, lift the knee. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come down to the knees, cow pose. Exhale, the left foot forward. Inhale as you lift the back knee, keep squeezing the legs together. Exhale, bring the back knee down. Feel the feet grounded. Inhale, low lunge, lift the back knee. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come down to the knees for cow pose. Exhale, come back into child's pose. Inhale for cow pose. Feel the connection of the hands and the feet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in here, lift the hips, press the chest back. Breathe out, relax the heels, connect it into the hands. Now slowly come back down onto the knees. Bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand, about on the edge of the mat. You can turn the toes a little bit to the right. Bring the back knee as far back as feels comfortable. You can grab your blocks here if you have them, or maybe some books. Keep the front knee right on top of the heel. Feel the big toe down. Feel all the toes in the back foot as well. So really feel even the pinky toe. So it'll align a little bit your hip, your pelvis. And then keep pulling the heart forward. Now, you want to find some stillness in your breath here. So if you feel that you're constricting the breath or it's a little bit difficult, you might have to adjust the pose, come back a little bit, bring your knee a little bit more forward, come higher onto the blocks. Close the eyes if you can. And just notice with your out breath where you can release a little bit of tension. Maybe it's in your face, in your jaw, and your neck. And then slowly come back up. Move the blocks away if you have them. Come back into table pose. And then move through cat-cow. Again, linking the movement and the breath. And then come back into center and bring the left foot forward to the outside of the left hand. Make certain that the knee is on top of the heel. Bring the right knee further back. Let the right top of the foot touch down and feel all 5 toes. Use your hands to pull your sternum forward. Maybe tuck the chin a little bit. And find the place where you feel comfortable and still, or that you can be still without constricting the breath. And again, just use the out breath to release any tension, maybe in the eyes, maybe in the back of the neck, maybe even in the back foot. Just find wherever the tension is hiding and let it go. And then slowly come back into table pose. Spread the fingers wide and press back into downward facing dog. As you inhale, cow pose. Lift the chest, lift the tailbone. As you exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow pose. Down dog as you exhale. One more time. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, and downward facing dog. Stay here or come down to the knees and just breathe. Notice stillness in the mind, maybe stillness in the heart, stillness in the spirit. And then slowly come down into child's pose. So now open the knees as wide as the mat, bring the big toes to touch, and then reach the hands forward. Press into every fingertip. Bring the forehead down. You can keep the elbows lifted to be a little bit more active and crawl your fingers all the way forward. Otherwise, you can release your elbows down into the ground. Breathe into the belly. And breathe out. And continue with this breath, breathing deep into the belly. Allowing any thoughts that come through the mind to come through, but just pass through. They don't need to stay. Start to feel more settled in the hands and the forehead and the knees and the feet. All that energy grounding down towards the floor into the earth, feeling safe and stable. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring your knees together, sit back onto your heels or onto a block. Bring the hands down onto the thighs, look forward, tuck the chin, close the eyes, relax the shoulders. And just find your breath. Tune in to the dynamic stillness of the breath. Tune into the stillness of the mind. Tune into the stillness of the heart space. And tune into the stillness of the spirit, your spirit. Bring the palms together and the thumbs in between the eyebrows. Take a big breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, slowly bowing forward as far as feels comfortable, in gratitude for the practice, for each other, for ourselves, and for the stillness within. Namaste.